Tesla is one of the loudest and noisiest companies that you can hold as an investor. It's noisy because of the fear, the uncertainty, and doubt that is perpetuated by news outlets as this company starts to disrupt so many different industries and markets, from labor with the humanoid robots that they're starting to scale, to transportation with the lowering the cost of a mile to under $1 to 30 cents with their robotaxi network that's going to be autonomous driving, their ability to scale battery electric vehicles, and this is starting to undercut internal combustion engine vehicles, the legacy automakers that stand to lose a lot by the success of Tesla. And then you've got the broader impact of a CEO who is extremely misunderstood and disliked by a lot of the mainstream media as well. And as his reach starts to grow, his broader companies from XAI to the Boring Company to Neuralink to SpaceX, he starts to disrupt so many other industries. And this Musk ruption, which you can see in this chart, you can see all these massive companies that stand to lose a lot of market share and potential growth through the growth of Tesla and its broader companies and the connections and the synergy between all of these companies. You're going to have a lot of resistance. You're going to have a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt being created. And in this video, I want to try and create a series of videos which show the signals that this company are truly building something that's going to be profitable, that's going to be marginable, that's going to be successful, and the noise that comes from these reporters and journalists who have agendas that are reportedly linked to certain funding projects such as USAID. Routers is a company that are definitely linked to being funded by organizations that are very much against the success of Elon and his companies. So I want to look at the signals, I want to look at the noise, and I want to go through 5 each time that show that this company has so much potential. And you can ignore the noise, you can focus on the signals in these videos and just see, okay, they actually have got an advantage, they have got a moat. So like, subscribe, comment down below if you get any value from this video, and let's get straight into it. So the first bit of noise that I want to look at is the Tesla Model Y, the highest selling vehicle in the world, also has in the news the most recalls, which is where the National Highway Transportation Service Agency report on the amount of times a vehicle's been recalled to be serviced, to be fixed. The noise is that this Model Y has the highest recalls. That's what you're going to see in the headline. That's what you're going to think, oh, wow, the Model Y is actually terribly unreliable. But the reality is, when you look at the signal, that the actual recalls are OTAs, which are over-the-air software updates. 99% of Tesla's recalls are over-the-air service updates, which is basically an update that can be done from anywhere in the world. And so that car doesn't need to leave the garage, it doesn't need to leave the home. It's not a physical manufacturing problem, it's a software update. Because these cars have so much more technology in them that the actual update is now still considered by NHTSA as a recall, which is completely incorrect, and it should be branded in its own category. And if it was based on physical recalls where the car has to go back to the garage to be serviced, this would only be 1%. So that is noise that is used to try and dispel people away from investing in Tesla and truly understanding what this car company have already been able to achieve. Number 2 is the noise that comes from Tesla's development of the Optimus robot as they build into this humanoid robot space. They're going to be met with real resistance from other competitors, such as Figure AI. You've got Boston Dynamics, you've got Sanctuary AI, you've got Hanson Robotics, you've got SoftBank. And although these companies, these robot companies, are developing sophisticated demonstrations, they haven't shown the ability to scale these products at mass into the millions, which are going to be required for this total addressable market that's going to be upwards of 100 trillion. Tesla have managed to show the signals that are needed. They are hiring hundreds of positions to facilitate the growth and scalability of the Optimus robot and start to build in the new generation version of this that's going to be widespread and commercial. But they've also managed to develop the brain, The 50,000 H100 cluster that they call Cortex that can be used to train the brain of the Optimus. They've also got Colossus, which is a 100,000 H100 GPU cluster. This is the biggest in the world. And also with Dojo, which is a custom built computer, which is using D1 chips. This is specifically for fully self-driving. The ability to train the Optimus to be able to become the most sophisticated humanoid robot in the market. They have that facility. They have that equipment. They are ahead of all the other competitors for those reasons. And therefore, the signal in this is that Tesla have the brain, they have the H100 cluster, they have the hiring of the positions to be able to scale out these robots. They have the facilities, they have the factories, they have the proven engineering ability to be able to build at scale hundreds of thousands of Optimus robots in the next few years. So that's the signal. Number 3 is the noise around NVIDIA being able to provide an attachable engineering solution for fully self-driving for car companies that haven't managed to develop this technology, such as Ford and General Motors. This will undermine and undercut Tesla's efforts at creating a fully self-driving neural end-to-end vision-only system. That is the noise. What NVIDIA do is they have their synthetic data processed by their Cosmos platform, and then they use their AGX computer in order to write the different scenarios that are going to be required for fully self-driving. They provide the car companies with the radars, the cameras, and the detectors, and the LiDAR, and then that's all attachable, and then it's going to take a few months, and then all of a sudden, all of these car companies are going to be at the same point that Tesla are. The signal is that Tesla have billions of miles of real-world data that they can process. They've managed to develop a Dojo supercomputer, which uses a D1 wafer chip, which is specifically designed to be able to process real-world video frames. The 8 million fleet size that they have on the roads that have managed to collect data, real-world data for all the edge cases over the last decade, is going to be then processed, and then alongside their use of Cortex and Colossus to also use synthetic data, they're going to have a combination of billions of miles of real-world data to solve the edge cases. They're going to have the same amount of synthetic data to be able to combine and create even more scenarios that are augmented so that you can create a more safe version of a driver with the fully self-driving solution that they're going to create. This is going to put Tesla so far ahead of any other car company. The ability for them to do this with only vision, cameras only. They've got their software vertically integrated stack with the hardware as well. It's all designed cohesively. And that ability to manufacture a fully self-driving solution cheaply is one of the main reasons why Tesla are going to be so far ahead, and there's not going to be another car company that can keep up. Every other car company is going to struggle with the reliance on NVIDIA's chips. They're going to be locked into this vendor. There's going to be supply chain issues. And the main risk that comes from these car companies having to redesign their vehicles to customize their vehicles so that they can use the NVIDIA radars, cameras, and their computer hardware solution is going to mean the margins on these vehicles that are already suffering are going to suffer even more. So the signal is Tesla's Dojo specific design D1 chip that's going to be used for fully self-driving, the 8 million vehicles that are collecting data every day, the real world data that they've already managed to collect and that they're constantly processing, just puts them very far ahead. They're on version 13 of their software update, which means that they are just creating a unsupervised robotaxi network, and there is not another car company that can just attach an engineering solution that requires you to build a vertically integrated software all the way through to the computers and the cameras. That's the solution that needs to be created, and Tesla have that. So that's the signal. Number 4 is the noise around the battery constraints. And as Tesla are faced with this increasing difficulty in sourcing the raw materials that they need, such as the lithium, to be able to build these batteries, the demand and the ability to deliver electric vehicles to the market is going to go down. But the actual signal here is Firstly, Tesla are developing their own lithium refinery that will be something they can use to allow them to become even more vertically integrated, localize their supply chain, and then they'll be able to develop more of these batteries using that raw material. But it also shows the increasing demand for electric vehicles. It's a signal that actually this market is continuing to grow, and Tesla are best positioned to be able to capitalize on this. Number 5 is the noise around the car deliveries in the earnings reports. Now, the analysts that go to these earning reports and ask the questions to the CEOs and the executives, they ask car questions. They don't think about the other companies that are developing underneath the cover of Tesla. They focus on the cars. And the consensus estimate was that the deliveries for Q4 should have been 503,269, and actually only 495,570 vehicles were delivered. So that discrepancy led to a massive sell-off in the stock, concern and noise and fear, uncertainty, and doubt. When actually the signal in that report was 11 gigawatt hours of storage was deployed, and that was a profit of nearly 600 million. The growing energy business year over year is in the billions. The signal is that the smaller company that is energy deployment is starting to become more marginable and more profitable than the car company. And if these analysts continue to focus on the deliveries of the cars, they're actually going to miss all of the developments that are happening underneath the cover. And this is what the opportunity is. This is why this company provides so much information and content that gives me so much to talk about. But the signals are so clear. This energy company, the 11 gigawatt hours that were deployed, is more profitable than the car company. That's the signal. And that's not really being picked up by the financial analysts that go to these earning reports. If you managed to get any value so far from this video, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. Could this be relevant? I think that the two addressable markets that you have to focus on as you understand this company and you see the potential and you see the exponential impact that these two emerging companies will have, from the humanoid robots to the fully self-driving. You focus on the margin that's going to come, the profit that can be created, and the fact that with fully self-driving, this network is going to be able to provide rides that cost about 30 cents a mile. Currently, Uber charges $2 a mile. That is such a massive difference that Tesla can afford to make money being able to charge so cheaply that the competition is just not going to be able to keep up. They're going to have to license and really cooperate to the demands that Tesla are going to set, because they've managed to compete away any other company that could challenge them in this space. And this is going to be transportation, which is going to be trillions of a total addressable market that just hasn't really been captured yet. And then you've got the humanoid robots, which is going to be scalable into this year. 2026 is going to be 100,000 or more. 2027, hundreds of thousands. And then by 2028, these are going to be in the millions. The Optimus ramping up, and it's still going to probably be more commercial rather than it going into homes initially. But these two markets are going to be the markets that Tesla starts to dominate. And that will be multiple X's on their market cap. And the market cap's 1.1 trillion, give or take what's happening at the moment. The potential here is huge. And I think that they are going to completely eclipse Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and probably have the total market of all four of those companies combined by the end of the decade. So if you got any value from this video, if you managed to understand that there's so much noise around this company, focus on the signals, they just keep developing, they keep engineering, and this company is extremely exciting, and they're going to create solutions that will massively impact and benefit, I think, our lives in the future. So I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much.